Welcome, Sojourners. You have found yourself a cozy place here at Sojourners Awake. I'm Jonathan, and this is our production of The Bookish and the Brave. Like you, the Sojourners are on a mission, and they faced conflict, sometimes even danger. And now as they move through the Western Mountains, on the eastern side, near the Regency Pass, they look for the Shadow Monastery. And in the full moonlight, the Shadow Monastery makes its appearance. But not before they must navigate the wildlands, safe and sound. But certainly not without incident. And so for now, our story continues. As the Sojourners press on that evening, you make camp that night. Stars sprinkle the night sky. And upon the third morning, you wake up, traveling through. It's another beautiful day. The sun is still shining bright. You've deviated far from the corkscrew highway as you're moving towards the Regency Pass. Who is taking the navigation?
Vaughn would check with Asyndeton, and as long as Asyndeton told him he was on the right path, he would continue to follow. Asyndeton, I will stay out in front and keep my eyes open. You make sure to tell me if I go astray from the path you know we are to take.
Certainly. The pass itself should be fairly constrained. There's not much we can do to stray.
Then I will just continue down this path.
Oh, not that way. Just kidding.
I don't know you very well, Asyndeton, but I think that was a joke.
Yes, it was.
Okay, let's walk.
You walk along, and thanks to the weather, you have no difficulty navigating. By the end of the third evening and the fourth morning, you move towards the mountains. They are now in view, the western mountains towards this eastern area, beyond the borders of the southern territories. Bochen, Greenfield, High Keep, and Baldtop Library are far away. And today, with a 3 on the weather roll, thunderclouds begin to fill up the area, filling up the sky. You hear in the distance the roar, the lightning, the wind begins to get colder and cooler, for winter is not yet over. And I would like to know if anyone saw this coming. With no indication that you were looking out for the weather, I would say it's most likely that Sterling would be in touch with the weather. So, Sterling, if you would make a survival check, I need you to make a 10 or higher.
It's a 15.
A 15, you saw this storm coming. What preparations would you make in anticipation?
Maybe it was the sky just going a certain color, or the increased moisture and humidity in the air, or a sudden drop in cool pressure, which changes the kind of the feeling of the water on his skin that is always there from being a genasi. He gives everyone a heads up that, hey everybody, I think we're going to get into some bad weather soon. If you've got a coat on, I would recommend it. And Vaughn, watch out for Eramente. I think this is going to be a bad one. And what he'll do is, as soon as it starts falling, he'll cast his cantrip-shaped water and create like a cone of water over his head to stop the water from falling on him.
Sterling, you move, and the water provides, above you, provides a canopy against the water. The winds begin to blow. You're caught in the rain, sludging through the hillside. Camping that night is quite miserable. The next morning you wake up, the thunderstorms still raging on. With no relief from that night, you're in risk of being exhausted. Each of you make a Constitution saving throw, 10 or higher. A 25 from Sterling, 19 from Vaughn, 11 from Asyndeton. Even Asyndeton survives this night. Strengthening yourself, you move on through the thunderstorm. The winds continue to howl across the hillside. The lightning illuminates even this daytime that is covered and blanketed with dark clouds. As you camp, the final night before you reach the pass, which one of you takes leadership in this area, and how do you do so?
I can take the watch tonight. I figure I've gotten us to this point, and you're the ones, as the book ends, that will be doing most of the work from here on out. You need your rest more than I do.
Asyndeton, roll a d20. 8 or lower, the thunderstorm progresses.
17.
The clouds begin to part. The ground is still wet and muddy, but due to you being on the hillside, the water begins to run off towards the valley. With the mountains in view, you have a little bit of lee from the wind that is howling. Your eyes keep a sharp lookout. Roll your perception check. A 15 or higher.
Nope. 10 total.
Give me 1 minute.
I'm too busy digging ditches to route the water around the campsite.
And every so often, Sterling will just push it back in when he's not looking. Use his shape water to push it back.
I thought I just dug this out. Ugh.
Hawkins, Sterling, and Vaughn, you are all sleeping softly while Asyndeton is keeping watch, but not well enough. For in the shadows, an elven woman creeps up on the Sojourners. She whispers an incantation in abyssal. The ground at the campsite begins to slowly lift up with sickly yellow mist. It swirls around the campfire and enters the nostrils of each of those that are sleeping. Creeps around the back of Asyndeton, and as you exhale to take in a deep breath of night air, you suddenly feel a caustic, stinging sensation in your lungs. Each of you make a Constitution saving throw. The DC is 17. 11 from Hawkins. 10 from Vaughn. 13 from Asyndeton. 13 from Sterling. The Sojourners all fail. You spend the next hour retching and reeling and vomiting. Somewhere this stinking cloud has entered into your lungs. You know that you are poisoned for the next 2 days. An hour passes, able to diagnose yourself. Asyndeton, how do you respond?
Did he hear the abyssal being spoken?
No.
But he might be familiar with the effects with the yellow cloud. Would I be able to do an Arcana check?
I would say you know this spell, Stinking Cloud.
Yeah.
Yes, you're very familiar with it.
So, through fits of coughing, I relate to the party. I am so terribly sorry. I thought I would give you a rest, but it appears my eyes aren't what they used to be. I'm afraid we've been hit by a spell called Stinking Cloud. I'm so very sorry. I should have taken more precautions or something.
What does that mean? What does that mean for us?
It's going to take time. There's really no cure for it. It's just a matter of letting it ride out now that we've all been affected. Maybe a day, maybe 2. Oh, it's in my mouth.
Who did it, though?
I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anybody. I don't know. Perhaps if you were to check for signs of someone around, they would have to be within a certain distance.
And with your sight, Hawkins, you can see nothing at this point, though you're in a small outcropping of rocks that are abutting the mountainside.
They could have been no more than 90 feet away.
They could be a half a mile away now, and they're gonna know where we are.
You suppose we ought to move camp then?
That's probably best.
Maybe somewhere off the path away, so they can't hear us.
Yeah, so I suppose we should just gather up what we can, hope for the best that our stuff won't be permeated with this stench, and find a new place to settle down for the night.
So Sterling, as he's just kind of retching over by the bush, all of a sudden this big bubble will just come out of his mouth, and a little lesser restoration will give himself a little bit of healing from this poison, as he starts to think that if anyone needs to be clear, he should be ready to go.
And Sterling, you indeed revive yourself, feeling the horrible stench leave your body.
I swear, guys, I showered today. I did. In the rain. I did.
Progressing up the mountainside, the terrain becomes more slanted, having sometimes to get down on your hands and knees to go upwards. Soon enough, you see that the path up the Regency Pass starts to come into a sheer cliff side. As you're walking through this cliff and incline and rocky shale of a mountainside moving up, how do each of you proceed?
Vaughn will be looking for the easier route for the other guys, because he feels pretty confident that he can climb some little rock faces and that he could jump up places if he needed to, but he's also thinking about the rest of the party. So he's out in front scouting the easier path, the footholds, maybe checking on the little sheer faces to see if it's something that he thinks he could get the rest of the guys up. And he's spending his time boosting the rest of the party up if need be, and trying to help us progress up the hill.
Vaughn, your hands reach for the dusty rock. You find a good grip, a safe place to put your legs. Lifting yourself up, you know that Sterling, Hawkins, and even Asyndeton can make this climb. Ermonte speaks from within your pack. Dad? I heard Asyndeton saying something about a spell. Was that magic earlier?
I think it was, sweetheart. Somebody bad came and did some bad magic on us, and it made us all feel sick. Did you feel sick?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. You can see Uncle Sterling's still a little bit greener than normal, and well, none of us are feeling very good, but I'm glad that you're feeling well.
She hops up out of the pack and scampers off a little higher and points out a foothold for you to place your foot in. Well, why are we going to get a flower? What's so important about it?
Well, this flower is supposed to have some healing power, and it can help us. It may be able to bring somebody back from the dead, which is not so important to us, but we are protecting the world from the bad guys who would also like to have this. And if they could have this, it could make things really bad for all of us. So we're trying to stop the bad guys from getting it first.
Because bringing back a bad dead person.
Yes, exactly right. There are some really bad people that have left this planet, and if they are able to come back, it could make things really bad for the rest of us.
Do you ever think the revolution in Bochen will come to Balltop?
Well, that's a very deep question, sweetheart. I think I think it's very possible, and that's part of why we're doing what we're doing right now. See, some of the bad people that also want this flower are the people that have caused this revolution. And if they were to gain that kind of power, who knows where they would go next to cause problems? Might even be Bald Top.
Uncle Hawkins says there was a killer robot.
Oh, he did? Well,
Yeah.
he'll have to tell us all that story maybe around the campfire tonight.
Oh, over here. Look, I found it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Hey, everyone, step right here. Aramonte found us a good foothold.
Each of you may make your athletics check with advantage, thanks to Vaughn and Aramonte's guidance. You're going for a 13 or higher. A Vaughn with a natural 20.
You said athletics?
Indeed. A 13 from Asyndeton. Your foot starts to slip just a little bit and the rocks drop to the ground, sprinkling in Sterling's eyes, but you're able to pull yourself aright. Sterling with a 17, you lift up, scaling past and finding even an alternate route that Vaughn did not see. With advantage, Hawkins, you roll a 10. Hawkins, this being below the requirement. How do you fail?
Hawkins he's just having trouble reaching the footholds and handholds that he needs to. Everyone else doesn't have any problem reaching. So he's going to have some trouble climbing, the same path that everyone else does. So he gets an idea and pulls out the necklace and says, "Engorgio," and doubles his size so that he can reach what he needs to.
Interesting. As Hawkins doubles in size, you lift up and you hear the rattle of a snake dart and bite where your hand was moments before you doubled in size. The snake then misses its target and goes sailing down the cliffside.
Watch out for snakes,
Hawkins.
y'all.
At the top of the plateau, Hawkins now twice his size, Sterling, Asyndeton, and Vaughn. You have a moment to breathe as the clouds have parted and you can see the mountain. And upon the mountain, the moon is now full and beginning to rise. You know you are only very close to reaching your destination.
Look, there, across the way. Do you see it? The walls of the monastery.
Well, there it is, yes. Yes, and it's nice to be on top of this plateau now. Very nice job climbing, everyone.
You certainly made it easier for all of us. Thank you, Master Vaughn.
And I was only a little bit green because of the last time I was climbing up higher places, okay? It wasn't because of feeling sick. I'm actually feeling a lot better, but, anyway, just...
Yes, Sterling. We know.
I hope there's another way down from up here. I really don't want to have to climb down this cliff face again.
Well, there's definitely a faster way down, Hawkins, but I don't know that you would like that one very much.
Well, that's true.
Vaughn, you know that a little bit of time has been lost. You're starting to feel tired, still a little sick. With plenty of places to camp along this plateau and the monastery in sight, how would you proceed? Rest or press forward?
Is anyone still feeling sick?
I felt better, but I think I can go on.
Hawkins, how are you feeling?
About the same.
Do you think we should rest? I'm not feeling 100% yet either.
I'm okay with moving on, at least to see what we're dealing with up there.
Perhaps we could get close enough to be within striking distance, but still have a place to rest in safety there.
Well, that sounds good. You know the place better than the rest of us, Asyndeton. Why don't you lead the way?
I will do my best, Master Vaughn.
Asyndeton, you lead the Sojourners up a well-cut stair side on the mountain pass. 100 feet you climb up, stair step after stair step. The wind begins to howl around you as the night sky turns dark and the full moon rises. As you reach the top of the stairs, you see a magnificent view before your eyes. An empty plateau suddenly shimmers with light as a monastery begins to appear from the shadow realm. In the full moon light, it manifests, and where the full moon casts a shadow, bits of the monastery disappear from your mortal eyes. Across this rocky plateau, there is an entrance. A 20-foot wall surrounds this courtyard of a monastery, and its 2 roofs peak into the sky. Asyndeton, how would you lead your party?
There they are, the walls. Do you see them? I know they're made of dark stone, and they may be a little hard to make out in the darkness, but the moon is helping. Perhaps if we can... Do you see that clump of boulders over there? Perhaps we could move there and get a better view.
I don't see much. You will have to lead the way.
Carefully, I make my way, trying to be as quiet as possible in the dark, and head for the relative safety of the screening rocks.
Asyndeton creeps forward in the darkness, moving behind a few boulders. As you peer over the boulders, you get a sense that the monastery looks in pristine condition, but there does not appear to be any watch along the walls. And it's quite a sight to see when a cloud moves over the face of the fully lit moon. The monastery disappears from your sight momentarily until it arrives yet again, like a ghost in the shadows.
With my back pressed against the stone, I turn around and slither up to the top with just the top of my, basically just clearing it enough to be able to look over the top of the boulders. And I wait patiently there, looking for any sign of movement whatsoever.
As you wait there, the 3 of your sojourners are far from you. They can see you behind the boulders. They can see the monastery. Sterling, how would you proceed?
Sterling would be intrigued by the fact that the monastery keeps appearing and disappearing, and is keeping an eye on the moon and the patterns of the wind and his clouds. He's more like paying attention to that than what's going on.
Hawkins.
Hawkins turns to Vaughn and says in a quiet voice, "What do you think Asyndeton's doing up there? He's been sitting there for like 5 minutes."
I would guess that he's checking to see if there are any guards that are going to appear or any sign of life there in the monastery.
I mean, I guess, but how long? I don't know. I don't think I'd have that kind of patience to sit there. I'm excited to get in there.
If possible, what I'd like to do is, how far are the boulders from the entrance?
You are about 50 feet away.
Okay, I should be able to throw a rock 50 feet. If I can reach down and find, a nice hand-sized rock, and then toss it in the direction to fall somewhat short of the gate, actually.
Indeed you do. The rock goes clattering just short of the gate.
And still no reaction?
No guards appear.
All right, one final check. Do I feel any sense, is there any sensation of being watched at all?
You can make an insight check. Let's go for 15.
Yeah, so while Sterling was watching the moon and the walls of the monastery, he is holding onto his sea glass and ritually casting detect magic to see if there was any magic going on by the gate.
Sterling, as you look into your starstone reflecting from the full moon light, you sense there's nothing magical about the gate. Asyndeton, what did you score on insight?
A natural 20 for a total of 26.
Asyndeton, a still small voice echoes in the chambers of your mind that you are the second party to arrive here today. Someone indeed has gone before you.
But there doesn't seem to be anybody on guard at the gate.
No.
Okay, with that then I quietly slip back down the rock, or the boulders, and I turn and I motion to the others to join me.
Assuming you do, the four of you have reconvened behind the boulders, just 50 feet away from the entrance.
I apologize for taking so much time, but I wanted to be sure we weren't going to be caught. It does not appear that anyone is on guard here. But I have a sense, I don't know why, but I have a sense that the two that were ahead of us came here just today.
Then what are we waiting for? I mean, they could already have the lotus. Let's get moving. I mean,
Indeed.
what's the plan?
Indeed, that is for you, the bookends to determine.
We have to go. Asyndeton, I can't see very well in the dark, but did you see a way in besides just walking through the front gate?
Asyndeton, you see that the walls could be scaled by someone like Vaughn or with rope.
The walls are climbable. When they are visible, I can see that there's rough stone. You should be able to scale it with no problem, Master Vaughn. Perhaps if you were to do that, you could lower a rope so the rest could climb after you. Or you could just walk through the gate. I've not seen any movement in my time here.
Maybe I should sneak up there and peer over the wall just to take a look inside real quick, and then I can signal you from the top. You should be able to see me, correct?
Yes, indeed. Before you go, I can help you with some things.
Okay.
I'm going to cast Enhanced Ability on you, and that will increase. I'm focusing on your dexterity. You will have Cat's Grace, so you'll have advantage on dexterity checks, and you will not take damage from falling 20 feet or less if you're not incapacitated.
Well, Ted's allergic to cats, but Vaughn is not, so it's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you, Asyndeton.
And Sterling would come over and punch him on the arm, holding a starstone, and cast guidance. Yeah, you've got this, just like you trained for all those times. Remember what Jati said. You have to study for the test and then perform, right? Yeah, I'm glad it's you, not me. Good luck.
Thank you, Sterling. Okay, I'm going to go. Keep an eye out for me, Asyndeton, and I will signal you to let you know if you should come to the gate or hold back.
Before you go, Sterling, do you have another tissue?
Oh, sorry, mate. I used them all. There was this girl. It's crying. It's a whole thing. But you can use my sleeve if you like.
Is it white?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Sure, if you could lend it to me.
Yeah, here you go.
All right, so I take the sleeve and I tuck it into your belt on your back, Vaughn, so that we can follow that up the wall. We'll be able to see the white as you climb, just to make sure that you're making good progress.
That sounds good. Hopefully that will work, and I can, if you should come to the gate, I will wave it at you. If you do not see me waving the white shirt in my hand, then you will know to stay back.
A sound plan. Good luck.
Thank you. And Vaughn will sneak over to the wall and try to climb it.
Dad, do you want me to stay or go?
What would you like to do, sweetheart?
I think I'll... She looks back at Sterling and Asyndeton and Uncle Hawkins. Well, she's going to decide.
I think you should go because you have those, those headlights that could shine a little bit of bright light and let us know what's going on too.
Okay. And with that encouragement, she decides to stay with Vaughn.
Well, you can stay inside my cloak, and I will let you know if it's safe to come out.
Okay. And she scrambles all the way to the bottom.
There you go, sweetheart. Okay, let's go.
Vaughn, you race across the plateau, going up to the wall. Time to scale it. Make an athletics check. DC 18.
That's a natural 20.
With Cat's grace and guidance not even needed, Vaughn, jumping from boulder to boulder, you leap like a cat, and with 2 hands, 2 feet, upon the wall, you look over the courtyard into the Shadow Monastery. I need you to make a perception check.
19.
That is a success. Dad, gummit! You stinking. So
This is the human on top of the human that can't see.
sweet. I had
anything in
one
the dark.
sweet moment this entire game. You see one monk, and you remember them now. Vaughn, not being very book smart, however, all of your skills accentuated in the present moment. Everything is suddenly coming back to you. The knowledge of what the non-Kwai monks look like, their black robes embroidered with silver lining. This one solitary monk is moving from pillar to pillar, from hiding place to hiding place so quickly, but this monk did not anticipate how quickly you would move up the wall. So he's eyes looking forward, not looking at the wall, totally missing your presence. He moves from pillar to the next.
So he looks like he's trying to hide from something. Vaughn is going to lay down on the top of the wall and just keep an eye on him and see what he's doing.
You see this monk poke its head out from behind the pillar, and in a moment of panic, he whispers, "Are they coming? Shh! Be quiet. Stay silent. Should we send scouts? I said stay silent." And then all gets quiet once again. Every story comes to an ending, so for now we must conclude. Thank you for listening, Sojourners. Your attention will not go unrewarded, and we look forward to continuing this adventure. If you enjoyed this background music and ambiance, go visit Tabletop Audio at www.tabletopaudio.com and take the time to sojourn with us. Find us on Facebook or Instagram, or you can subscribe to my newsletter on Substack. Sojourners Awake podcast is also on WordPress and Blogspot. The best thing you can do is share with a friend or go to your favorite podcasting platform and leave a rating and review. This helps other Sojourners find us along their path. But no matter how you choose to sojourn with us, we thank you for listening today. And as always, may your story continue.